For much of the past year, Malaysia's media regulator, the Communication and Multimedia Commission, or MCMC, has been very busy. It's been trying to get a grip on the coverage of a corruption scandal, a story of billions of dollars that have gone missing from Malaysia's development fund and have allegedly landed in the bank accounts of the country's Prime Minister, Najib Razak. This story was broken online by a news site called the Sarawak Report and has since been chased by many other news outlets, most of them digital. The coverage has revealed something many Malaysians already knew, that the country's media landscape has got a split running through it, with mainstream news outlets either unwilling or unable to get their teeth into the story and online publishers leading the journalistic charge. And the Malaysian authorities have made this a difficult story to pursue. News sites have been blocked and pushed offline, editors have been called in for talks with the regulator, and some foreign reporters have been detained, even deported, over the issue. The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on a story that has an offshore angle to it and has the Malaysian government on tenterhooks, pushing back at online news sites unwilling to let it go.
May 2015, the Sarawak Report, a news site that reports on Malaysia, broke a big story. It published what it called leaked documents, exposing a tale of corruption involving 1MDB, the state-backed development fund, and a trail of money leading to Prime Minister Najib Razak, who also serves as the Minister of Finance, and his political allies. The Wall Street Journal followed up on Sarawak Report's story. It was the kind of journalism seldom seen in Malaysian papers or on TV, and it's no coincidence outsiders were doing the reporting. The Sarawak Report is based in London. Its editor is a Malaysia-born British journalist, Claire Rucastle-Brown, and the Malaysian authorities don't like her or her work. That was made clear when, after the story got out, the country's media regulator, the MCMC, called a group of online news editors to a meeting in Kuala Lumpur.
Essentially, the entire meeting was about Sarawak Report and all the news, and they were saying, you know, if you repeat what Sarawak Report puts out, you're also liable like them. And of course, we asked the question, who says it's unverified? Who says it's false?
This was a public interest story. We worked for a long time and we managed to get whistleblower information that could give us an insight into what had gone wrong. The MCMC, the Communications Ministry in Malaysia, has been relying on thug tactics, essentially, to shut up the media. What they attempted to do was to say that Sarawak Report was publishing false information.
The guy who called for the meeting, he just kept repeating, if you report news which is not verified, and he didn't say who had to verify it, it's an offense.
It was on the basis of that that Sarawak Report was banned. They banned us for allegedly passing out false and forged information. We have now been vindicated. All the information that we published has been shown by Malaysia's own Parliamentary Accounts Committee to have been correct. Nevertheless, Sarawak Report remains banned.
It's been 9 months since the website was kicked off the Malaysian internet, and at the same time, an official notice was issued by the MCMC. It warned Malaysians to, quote, stop spreading manipulated photos, unverified news, or any speculation on the investigations into 1MDB through social networks. If caught, offenders could face fines or even a possible jail term. Online media outlets like Malaysia Kini, Malaysian Insider, and Free Malaysia Today had been chasing the 1MDB story relentlessly, unlike some in the mainstream media. That split between online and mainstream outlets and the difference in their approach is evident when you speak with Malaysians. We spoke with 3 people. Zaini Hassan, editor of the Utusan Malaysia newspaper that is part owned by the ruling United Malays National Organization. Surinder Palkor, an academic at the University of Malaya. And Stephen Gunn, co-founder and editor of Malaysia Kini, a leading website publishing in English, Malay, Chinese and Tamil.
In Malaysia, for a number of decades, the mainstream media is either directly or indirectly controlled by the government, and some of them are actually owned by the political parties, the ruling parties. It is a way for them to put all the mainstream media on a tight leash.
Previously, when other scandals may well have occurred, the newspapers were not reporting them much. But now you've got this whole social media, this ecosystem that allows people to not only report it, but to discuss it, to dissect it, to debate it. And that's this entire platform where people can, tear it to bits and come back to it and add on to it, So it's become larger because of that.
The problem with the social media, they are not professional. They can write whatever they like. They can give whatever opinions that they like, without the fundamentals of the facts. The facts.
We have a history of no censorship. That's partly because of the fact that when in the 1990s, when the former Prime Minister Mahathir came up with the idea that Malaysia could be the Asian Silicon Valley, he has promised not to censor the internet. So we have that long tradition where there's no censorship of the internet. But of course, lately you see the government trying to impose censorship on the internet media.
On February 25th, a popular news website, the Malaysian Insider, was blocked by the government. The MCMC gave no specifics, but said the site had violated sections of the 1998 Communications and Multimedia Act. Just days before the block, the site quoted documents from the Anti-Corruption Commission that recommended charges be brought against the Prime Minister in the 1MDB case. Less than a month later, the Malaysian Insider shut down. Domestic traffic to the website had all but disappeared, and so had advertisers. Jahaber Sadiq is the former editor of the Malaysian Insider.
You see, when it happened, everybody was going around, how do you around a block by a Malaysian government? The main impact was financial, of course, because our primary market is Malaysia. Advertisers dropped out, they deferred their advertising because they couldn't get the Malaysian audience, right? So it hurt us in financial terms, mainly.
What has happened to Malaysia Insider is, for me, I think is a bit sad, It seems that they are sensationalized. Most of the stories, especially issues that pertaining to government leaders and so on. Actually, you must have a kind of balance. For the benefit of the people, for the benefit of the country, I think we need to just ease a bit, so that we can have our more important agenda.
Precisely whose agenda the media reflect is the debate right now. The Razak government has gone on the offensive over this story. On March 12th, the Prime Minister appeared in the city of Kuching when a reporter from the Australian broadcaster ABC threw a question his way.
Hello, Mr. Prime Minister. It's ABC Australia. I'm wondering if you can explain the hundreds of millions of dollars in your account.
The reporter and his cameraman were immediately detained by Malaysian police and deported 2 days later. The government is pressing ahead with legislative changes as well. They will be tabled next month. The changes will create new powers to regulate online media, including blocking those outlets that, quote, defame national leaders. On this story, though, the authorities might be a little late.
I think for Malaysia and Malaysian media, what is significant is the genie is out of the bottle. You cannot suppress reporters and editors who want to publish every aspect of news, no matter which side it comes from.
It's a very, very interesting knife-edge time for Malaysia, because this scandal has caused the entire country for the last year to consider fundamental issues like freedom of the press, because they are confronted with possibly being transformed into a dictatorship in order to protect the Prime Minister. Hopefully this battle that is now going on will in fact result in a strengthening of Malaysia's democratic institutions, because more people will understand what it is that underpins the rule of law.
We're on a speeding bus with no brakes. And the obstacles in front of us, big ones, we swerve. Small ones, we ram through. But we have no clue what the government is going to throw at us next. You have a situation where there is really no option but for us to keep moving ahead.